Belshazzar's Feast by Louis Ginzberg. When God resolved to take revenge upon Babylon for all the sufferings it had inflicted on Israel, he chose Darius and Cyrus as the agents of vengeance. Cyrus, the king of Persia, and his father-in-law Darius, the king of Media, together went up against Belshazzar, the ruler of the Chaldeans. The war lasted a considerable time, and fortune favored first one side, then the other, until finally the Chaldeans won a decisive victory. To celebrate the event, Belshazzar arranged a great banquet, which was served from the vessels taken out of the temple at Jerusalem by his father. While the king and his guests were feasting, the angel sent by God put the Mene, Tekel, Upharsin on the wall, Aramaic words in Hebrew characters, one written with red ink. The angel was seen by none but the king. His grandees and the princes of the realm who were present at the orgy perceived nothing. The king himself did not see the form of the angel, only his awesome fingers as they traced the words were visible to him. The interpretation given to the enigmatical words by Daniel put an end to the merry-making of the feasters. They scattered in dread and fear, leaving none behind except the king and his attendants. In the same night, the king was murdered by an old servant, who knew Daniel from the time of Nebuchadnezzar, and doubted not that his sinister prophecy would be fulfilled. With the head of King Belshazzar, he betook himself to Darius and Cyrus, and told them how his master had desecrated the sacred vessels, told them of the wonderful writing on the wall, and of the way it had been interpreted by Daniel. The two kings were moved by his recital to vow solemnly that they would permit the Jews to return to Palestine and would grant them the use of the temple vessels. They resumed the war against Babylonia with more energy, and God vouchsafed them victory. They conquered the whole of Belshazzar's realm and took possession of the city of Babylon, whose inhabitants, young and old, were made to suffer death. The subjugated lands were divided between Cyrus and Darius, the latter receiving Babylon and Media, the former Chaldea, Persia, and Assyria. 2. But this is not the whole story of the fall of Babylon. The wicked king Belshazzar arranged the banquet at which the holy vessels were desecrated in the 5th year of his reign, because he thought it wholly certain then that all danger was past of the realization of Jeremiah's prophecy, foretelling the return of the Jews to Palestine at the end of 70 years of Babylonian rule over them. Nebuchadnezzar had governed 25 years, and evil Merodach 23, leaving 5 years in the reign of Belshazzar for the fulfillment of the appointed time. 3. Not enough that the king scoffed at God by using the temple vessels, he needs must have the pastry for the banquet, which was given on the 2nd day of the Passover festival, made of wheaten flour finer than that used on this day for the omer in the temple. Punishment followed hard upon the heels of the atrocity. Cyrus and Darius served as doorkeepers of the royal palace on the evening of the banquet. They had received orders from Belshazzar to admit none, though he should say he was the king himself. Belshazzar was forced to leave his apartments for a short time, and he went out unnoticed by the two doorkeepers. On his return, when he asked to be admitted, they felled him dead, even while he was asseverating that he was the king. 4.